second grade, we are now going to become math detectives today for our lesson. So if you have your magnifying glass out, you can use that today, even in math, because we're going to have to be looking for clues today as well. So to warm up our brain before we start our lesson today, we're going to do some review. First, we're going to practice doing our place value knowledge. And then we're going to practice solving with that all-important 10 plus fact. We need to keep these fresh in our brain because we're going to use both these skills today. So, Super Scholars, first up is this problem. We are going to solve this problem using our place value knowledge. That means we can add numbers that are in the same place. So, let's take a look. And 23. What number is in the ones place? What number is in the ones place? The 3, because it's farthest to the right. So then, which number is in the tens place? 2, because it's the first number and it's the other one. Well then, what about 5? What about 5? What place is this 5 in? If it's just all by itself, what place is this 5 in? It's in the ones place. If a number just by itself, it's always in the ones place. Okay, so which two numbers are in the same place and therefore have similar value? Which two numbers are in the same place? The 3 and the 5, because they're both in the ones place. The 3 and the 5. So we can add those numbers together. So Super Scholars, what is 3 plus 5? What's 3 plus 5? It is 8. So we have 8 in our ones place. And what are we going to have in our tens place? We've only got one tens number. So what's going to be in our tens place? It's going to be a 2. So can you read this with me? 23 plus 5 equals 28. We solve this problem by adding numbers in the same place. Okay, I'm going to reset and we'll do another problem. This might look similar, but it's different. 23 plus 50. Ooh, 23 plus 50. Okay, for 23, what number is in the ones place? The 3. And then what number is in the tens place? It's the 2. Awesome. Okay, what about 50? This is a new number. What is in the ones place? It's a 0. There's nothing there. Then what number is in the tens place? The 5. So now that we've determined each number's place value, we can add numbers in the same place. So, what two numbers are in the ones place? What two numbers are in the ones place? A 3 and a 0. So if we add them together, what would we get? We would still have 0 because we didn't add anything to it. So now we have a 3 in our ones place. So now for the tens. What two numbers are in the tens place? What two numbers are in the tens place? We have a 2 and a 5. So they're both in the tens place, so we can add them together. So 2 plus 5 equals, it equals 7. So now that we solved with our place value knowledge, let's read this equation. Here we go. 23 plus 50 equals 73. Good job, Super Scholars. Okay, we just warmed up our brains practicing what we did yesterday. And now it's time for our Wednesday learning goal. It says, I can identify when to solve an addition sentence with place value or a 10 plus fact. I'm going to read it one more time. I can identify when to solve an addition sentence with place value or a 10 plus fact. So we have learned two awesome mental math strategies on how to solve addition facts. We've learned to solve with our place value, which we just practiced, and we've learned to solve by creating a 10 plus fact. And today we are going to learn when we look at an addition problem, will it make the most sense for us to solve this with our place value knowledge or solve it using a 10 plus fact? There's going to be different addition situations that we're handed, and we have to be our math detectives and look for the clues to tell us which mental math strategy are we going to use. That is why you need your detective skills today, because there's clues in our addition sentences that will tell us how we can solve this problem. So, the first thing we need to know about this clue is we have to look at the ones place. In order for us to decide the difference about if we're going to use place value or a 10 plus fact, this all depends on the numbers in the ones place. So, in our place value knowledge, we're always going to look at the number all the way to the right, the ones place. That is going to be the clue that we have to look for. So our clue to solving with place value is when the ones place is less than 10. So when we see an addition problem, we are going to look for a ones place that is less than 10. I'm going to show you what I mean. Okay, here's an example problem. This is 32 plus 7. In order for us to decide if we're going to use place value, we have to look at the ones place. That's our big clue. So, let's identify. In 32, what number is in the ones place? In 32. The 2 is in the ones place. And then in 7, what number is in the ones place? It's 7, of course, because it's just by itself. So we identified the ones place. Now we have to figure out, are these numbers less or more than 10 when combined, when they're added together? So let's think about it. We've got 2, and we're going to add 7. What number is that? It's 9. Is 9 more or less than 7? What do you think? 9 is less. It's a smaller number. Okay, so if we found out that our ones placed together is less than 10, we can solve using our place value knowledge. But what if the numbers in the ones place aren't less than 10? Then we're going to solve with a 10 plus fact. Our clue for using a 10 plus fact is when the ones place is more than 10. So it's the complete opposite. With place value, it's going to be less than 10, but we can use a 10 plus fact when the ones place will be more than 10. Let's take a look. So we still have 32, but now we're going to add 9. So, just like last time, we had our 2 is in the ones place, and if a number is by itself, it's always in the ones place. 9. When these ones come together, will they be more or less than 10? So what's 2 plus 9? What is 2 plus 9? That's 11. Is 11 more or less than 10? The number 11. It's more than 10. It's a bigger number. So, if 9 plus 2 is going to equal 11, can we put that over in the ones place? Can you have two numbers in the same place? No, you're going to get all confused. So now we know to use a 10 plus fact to solve. I know you might be thinking that's a little confusing, but the more we practice, the better we will get at finding those clues and being a math detective. Okay, Super Scholars, if you have your whiteboard out, go ahead and put it to the side because we're going to move for our quick this or that. Okay, for our math video on Detective Day, I have a question for you. If you were a super sleuth, a super detective, what kind of gear would you like? Would you want a coat that would make you invisible? Would you want a coat that would make you invisible so you could detect? Or would you want shoes that made you silent, that no one could hear you? They were silent shoes. So if you want a cloak that makes you invisible, you're going to wiggle for 5 seconds. If you want shoes that are silent, you're going to spin for 5 seconds. Okay, take your pick. I want an invisible coat. So I'm going to just wiggle for 5 seconds. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, we got our wiggles out. And now everyone can sit back down in their nice seats and get your whiteboard back out. And we're going to compare some equations. So, what we see up here are two addition sets. One of them we can solve with our place value knowledge. The other one we can solve using a 10 plus fact. We have to look at that all-important ones place and decide with the clues which mental math strategy are we going to use. Okay, first up, let's look at 56 plus 8. Okay, 56 plus 8. And 56, what number is in the ones place? It's a 6, exactly. And an 8, what place is 8 in? It's in the ones place as well because it's by itself. So, we have looked at the ones place. Now we have to decide. When we combine them together, will they be more or less than 10? Okay, 6 plus 8. Is that going to be more or less than 10? I know 8's pair to 10 is 2. And I know 6 is more than 2. So that's going to tell me 6 and 8 are going to make a number bigger than 10. So if we know these numbers will be bigger than 10, what strategy are we going to want to use? Place value or 10 plus? We're going to use our 10 plus strategy to solve this problem. Okay, let's go ahead and do it. Da-da-da, 56. How can we turn 56 into a 10? What number do we want to make it into? 56 needs to become 60. It's next 10. You can go ahead and solve this on your whiteboard if you can. So, how are we going to turn 56 into 60? We have to take its pair to 10 out of that 8 and show that we know 56 plus 4 equals 60. So then, what are we going to add to our 60? We're going to add what's left over in the 8. That's all we've got. If we took out 4, how much would be left? It would be 4 as well. So that's what we will add to our 10. Okay, 60 plus 4 is 64. Exactly, good job. We solved this problem by using our 10 plus fact knowledge. So then, what if we moved over here? We now have 56 plus 2. What strategy are we going to use? Let's take a look at the ones. Okay, in 56, what number's in the ones? The 6, it's the same. And in the 2, what place is the 2 in? It's in the ones place as well, since it's by itself. So, let's think about these ones together. Does 6 plus 2 equal more or less than 10? Think about it. Is 6 plus 2 more or less than 10? I know 6 plus 2 is 8. And I know 8 is less than 10. So, if we know 8 is less than 10, how can we keep on solving this problem? With our place value knowledge. Exactly what we were just doing. So we already have our ones place in our number. That was an 8. So then what is going to be the tens place in our answer? What will be in the tens place? It's going to be this 5 because that's the only number in the tens place. So can you read this problem with me? 56 plus 2 equals 58. We solved this problem using place value knowledge. So we can tell the difference, use our math detective skills, just by looking at the ones place. So now it's going to be your turn on your own to look for those clues. Here are the two problems I need you to solve on your own. They are 43 plus 5 and 43 plus 9. But guess what? One of these problems you will solve with your place value, and one of these problems you will solve by using a 10 plus fact. It is going to be up to you to look at the ones place and determine which strategy you're going to use. Remember, if the ones place is less than 10, you will use place value. If the ones place is more than 10, you will use a 10 plus fact. So I can't wait for you to use your detective skills. Take a video of yourself explaining which strategy you used for which problem and why. Talk to me how you solved the problem and exactly why you chose that strategy. Think about the ones place. Okay, Super Scholars, let's go using our math detective skills, and I can't wait to see what you find.